Ooh, man, today is like, man, I was so inspired this morning. Hey, how y'all doing? This is your boy Don Peter Gentleman. I was inspired earlier from just working with one of my one of my old colleagues and from the nightclub industry who now is a master chef and he's doing this thing and he made a comment that was so great that it just inspired this video that I just had to go live with right now and just share the thing. And he made a comment which was like, "Hey, look, Don, you sold into me, you helped me, and you got me get started. So all I could do was just reciprocate that back and keep the energy flowing." And I was like, "Dang, that's was like powerful because that's what I always wanted. That's what when you put good out, you really come with the expectation of getting something good back with it. But then for some reason, that don't necessarily always happen that way, and it put me in my feelings. Like I was really on some fuck shit. Like I was really like in my feelings, like a whole little bit. You feel me? Um, because in my mind and how I was groomed to believe um, is that you do right by people and people do right by you, and then when you get further out, you start learning that not everybody is your friend. Some people are frenemies. And that may sound like, oh, well, you should know that off the top, but no, you don't, because, like, case in point, when you was growing up as a child, and you was a kid, at one point then you realized that people didn't mean you well. At what point did you start recognizing that some people just are just trying to use you for their benefit and not for y'all to work together? At what point did you realize that? You know, at what point did you realize that? Just think about that for a minute. Because when you was young, everybody was your friend. Everybody got along. Just look at kids. At every point, kids that are in like energy or match energy, they literally just get along. Not often do they just be mean to each other intentionally. Now, some of you notice that some of them are selfish as shit. So if they're young like that selfish, of course they're gonna grow up very more like that. So everybody needs to stay matched. But if you look at it in general things, go to any mall and see when the kids play. They don't know each other from a can of paint, but yet they play each other and be so joyful. So everybody's friends. At what point did you start recognizing or becoming a friend of me? You know what I mean? So I want to get into um, the criteria of friends versus frenemies and just how to elevate your business, elevate your personal life in the relationship habit of deciphering between the two, because there are very clear indicators that lets people know that they mean you greatness or they mean you detriment. You feel me? And some people are just don't even know how to decipher between the two because they just be so busy doing shit because they thinking that, oh, I'm doing so much that they're not really that, but not realizing that they're uh, creating uh, problems, trying to be so good that you actually destroying the very people that you call yourself trying to help. So, case in point, you know, all people are selfish. That everybody is playing for themselves. Now, that's a harsh truth and it's a create straight reality. Now, to say that, oh, I'm not selfish, I'm then look. If you're going to choose between me versus them, 99% of y'all is going to choose yourself over them. You're going to say, I want to live, fuck them. Even though in all the cartoons or the movies, it's always that one hero that sacrifices himself for the greater good of the whole, and then become this martyr or goes out with the blaze of glory. This is this is the infrastructure or the respect of anybody in the military. Shout out and much blessings to my people who serve in the military. You feel me? Because y'all are true heroes. People that are in that supposed to be the police in Africa and thing, but that's radio. But like our firefighters and our first responders and our medical people, they are truly sacrificing themselves for the greater good of the people as a whole. Why? Because they're literally on the front lines. They're literally putting themselves at risk in the face of danger. So they are qualified to basically say self-sacrifice. But what about the rest of y'all? Are y'all really on that tip? Are y'all really trying to be that? Let's be real. Probably not. Like, you will do it maybe for your kids, depending on how much you love your kids. And you may not. You might, and let's be logical about it. Let's be realistic about it. Like, a lot of parents, especially our mothers, do it way more than our fathers do it, where that they'll go broke trying to make sure their kids look great at the detriment of the stability of the family financially, instead of the stability of their mentality, emotionally, physically, that actually makes them strong people. So now I want to tie this all together. I just want to give you the precursors or the premise of why, of how this can become a detriment to your relationships as a whole, and a detriment to your relationships as a thing. Like in the book that I read some time ago, and I just want to reference this, in The Richest Man in Babylon, he was a great king, admired among many, and I related to that a lot in my recent times, because at one point I was admired among many, but when I fell on hard times, when he fell on hard times, everybody turned against him and made him feel and treated him as such, as if he was a beggar, poor man, or nothing, like he did no good. But there were some people that found favor with him, and because of his good works only, that they found that they developed a communication to literally give him grace so that he can rebuild, because clearly he had the intellect and intelligence, because he's already proven to be capable. But of course, hard times do fall on everyone. It's just how you adjust or how you pivot is what makes it make sense, and what allows you to now transition to transform to the next level, right? So when he was able to transition out, he was able to make right all the wrongs in regards to debts, debtors, people he owed, through a clear communication of uh, reciprocity, and paying off any borrowed or loaned incomes, right? So these are the things, these are the criteria that shows you a friend. A friend will help you in your time of need and not be so harsh on you. Now, a lot of folks be thinking like, oh, I opened up my doors, but yet in the back of your mind, you looking at them as an opportunity to get even leverage. Now, these are the criteria of a frenemy. They're leveraging your time during the time that you're down as a point for them to talk down to you, or degrade you, or disrespect you, or literally leverage your time to take some of the burden off of them, in regards to, like, if there was if you were a mother and she was just basically single with no kids, you start turning them into the babysitter instead of the transition. Or if you're a man sitting here trying, you're helping out another male or female that's on hard times, and you start especially with men and women, start trying to use them and leverage them for sex, in exchange for a roof over their head, and y'all not in a relationship. See, these are frenemies, because friends don't operate in that karmic space. Instead, they come in of an equality, and because they have more or they're capable, they're not pressing you for immediate gratification. Instead, they're giving you grace and time, within a lot of time for you to get your shit together. Now, of course, that puts you in the space where that you got to do the shit. Now, this is not always going to be the case every time, because there is an emotional space of in a temperament that's happening within yourself, where that you are feeling you're gonna go to a point of depression. You're gonna go to a point of SPACs. You're even gonna go to a regressive energy, and I talk about this in the 6 Daily Habits. I talk about this in the 6 Daily Habits of about in your self habit of actually mastering the shadow, and recognizing who the shadow is. You feel what I'm saying? Because in that point, at that point, when you're recognizing the shadow, you're going to run into a space and be put into a energy where that now you have to recognize your darkness areas, and this is where your friends and your environment become very integral. This ties into the relationship habit. Now, again, I talk about I share my story in regards to when I didn't have no money, but I did have relationships, and because of the relationship habit, they was able to give me grace to rebuild myself, at least emotionally and socially, and reposition my mind, body, and spirit to start implementing things financially. Okay, I hope y'all catching that. when you're able to rebuild yourself in the proper environment with the circle of friends who now are not hounding you for every little thing. Instead, they're helping you get through your thing because their position is not lack. So when you're looking at your criteria, if you feel that a person is higher or in a position to help you, and you're in a position of lack, and they're helping you, and they don't have no recourse on you, they're showing themselves as being a friend. They're supporting you either financially, like sending you money here or there. Now, they are aware. Now, keep this in mind. They are not obligated to help you and continue to help you to get to like take care of you. This is where your accountability has to be made clear. Okay? If you're not being accountable, meaning doing the 1% every day of going to work, saving your money, applying with your money, if you're borrowing money, paying it back, even if it's not a lump sum, in increments. This is what was expressed completely in the Rich Man in Babylon, that book. He talks about it in the biblical sense, but we're doing this in the real sense, and making good on all your promises. You will now be in the best position to regain the glory that God has put upon you, provided that you're paying attention. So that's the caveat to it. You have to be paying attention to your opportunities to actually transform your pain to profits, and we talk about all of that in my first book, Introducing Entrepreneur, about transforming your pain into profits. Now, when you're in that space and you're in that energy of feeling down and out, feeling like the world fucked you over, that is not room for you to have a pity party. But the world don't give a fuck. The world only respects those that pick up their bed and walk. One of the great stories that's in the Bible about the man that was blind, that was I think it was blind and lip on the side of the road, and Jesus was going through, Yeshua was going through them, and he seen the man, and when he seen the man, he was like, "Hey, look, do you want to see?" So because he was telling, like, the angel, when they go down to this little pool, angels come down and temper the water or put some type of magic mineral in there that heals people who have ailments. And this leper was a person that was literally going through it, right? So when he was going through it, he kept, Jesus was talking to him and said, "Hey, look, are you going through it? Do you want to be healed?" And before he said, and that's a yes or no question, before he said yes or no, he started giving excuses of why he couldn't be healed. He was like, "Oh, won't nobody help me? Won't nobody do this, blah, 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 blah." And Jesus was like, "Listen, all right, I get you. I feel you. But the question is, do you want to be healed?" You feel what I'm saying? So long story short, Jesus gave him some instructions and said, "Pick up your bed and walk." And that man was able to get up, walk, get his healing, and move on. And those are the people that you want to surround yourself around. You want to surround yourself with people that they're going to ask you a stupid ass question. But the stupid question is, do you want to get it done? Are you willing to put in the work? Are you willing to give it help? If I give you this help, if I support you some form of fashion, are you going to do this for real, or are you just trying to waste my time and use this? That's the question they're really asking. And if that answer is anything but yes, it's your problem. You're the one that's on some fuck shit. You're the one that's giving excuses, and you're the one that's just you really just asking for a problem, because you're basically not being accountable for the gifts that you were given, and you're shaming, and you're trying to blame somebody for their gratitude because they were fortunate, and you're trying to make it seem like you were unfortunate. But God, the sun falls on everybody. The good and what they say, the sun falls on the unjust and the just, right? So that means you got the opportunity to get your bag. You got the opportunity to develop relationships and friendships with people that will qualify themselves and will support you. You feel me? You are allowed that promise, but that also requires you to be that person. And if you're not that person, start doing the work. Now, what does that work look like? What does that work look like? That work looks like surrounding yourself around positive people that can sow into you and not take away from you. That it requires reading, listening to things that actually can support your business, sowing into the groups, getting in the rooms with progressive, positive people. These are the things and that's what they call the spiritual work, the intrinsic work. Getting it more in line with your mind and your spirit, right? Your highest conscious, your Allah, your Jesus, your Yeshua, your comedic energy, whatever the freak you call highest self. Get in alignment of that. That does not mean that you don't have feelings and emotions. Yes, you're going to have those. Your enemies is going to always try to find a way to leverage. Now, if you are in business, business is all about leverage and value, period. So when you get emotionally enthralled to leverage and value, you're now operating outside of alignment of business, because business is strictly transactional, which means that emotionally you can be involved in regards to the amount of value because you're really pouring into it. And I want you to catch this. When you're pouring into your soul and you're putting your heart, blood, sweat, and tears into your product or service to grow this business, to add value to other people's life, that emotional attachment now becomes spiritual. And when it becomes spiritual, now it's no longer your shit. Now it's out for God to bless it based off of your authenticity, based off your ability to believe, based off your ability to go hard. And when you're adding that value, you're bringing a leverage. That leverage is, hey, I'm leveraging something that can benefit you, and I'm doing it in a way that now no longer takes away from you, but adds to you. This is how you become a friend. As one of the great speakers, from annoying pests to invited guests. Now, this is a shout out to my man DK, Mr. Kennedy, who this is his term, not mine, so I'm borrowing from it. But it was a great thing that he just said that I was just like, this is dope. Where that now you're no longer leveraging your stuff as saying I'm so great, but hey, I'm humble and hungry. I'm humble and hungry to want to offer this gift or service or product that I know I can help you with, that I know I can benefit you without fear or failure. Now, if you're willing to see that value in me and exchange it for a price point that I'm asking for, so that now I'm sowing into you and you're reciprocating by sowing back into me in regards to income, then at that point, you're now positioning yourself in a power that no longer will start differentiating or separating yourself from your enemies, separating yourself from your frenemies, the people that say they was fucking with you, but they really not. They saying like, and it doesn't mean you don't hold it against them because they're not fucking with you. They're just showing you that, hey, we only fuck with you when you was at this person. Like if you smoking every day, drinking every day, hey, no judgment. It's just if you're doing that every day, you're now being in a distracted space every day where that you are not operating at your highest capacity. Not saying that you don't do it or you can't do it. I'm saying that if you're trying to operate at your highest capacity, you got to keep your body a little bit more cleaner than that on a regular basis. You feel what I'm saying? And when you're giving yourself time to keep it clean on a regular basis, you're going to have clarity. Not just clarity in speech, but clarity in thought. And when you have clarity in thought, now you got purpose, because now you ain't distracted. Because now you can see the road and drive that bitch. You feel what I'm saying? And when you're on that level and you really doing that dang on thing, now you're going to start attracting, because you're now being what you're talking about. And a lot of alignment talks about being authentic. It's talking about being real with you versus you. You feel me? You're going to start attracting friends, real friends. The friends, and I can attest to this as God honest witness. All of my friends that I had that were really friends were all people I did business with, not the motherfuckers I grew up with. Even though I was blessed to have one friend that we've been friends for 30 years. He don't want nothing from me. I don't want nothing from him. We became brothers, and we've been locked in for 30 years. And I was blessed because I normally don't get that. You normally don't get that often. But the fact of the matter, in regards to like growth, everybody that I thought was my friend, that I thought because we were locked in and we were doing businesses and we were talking to each other on a regular basis, that we wasn't really friends. I was just a pawn to them. How they see me was something less than who I am. And as I got more mature and started seeing the signs and started understanding that, damn, I'm really just leverage for whatever they want. And I'm like, that's cool. Well, then if it's a service and that's surface level, understand, we just do business. I learn now not to take it personal. I learn now if you make a leverage move and I'm aware of business, this is where if you're not distracted by boyfriends, girlfriends, and I'm not saying don't be in a relationship. I'm saying like people that are not that are not helping you think clearly. Instead, they're just dumping their traumas and problems on you with no clarity of a solution. See, the thing is, it's cool to dump the shit. You got to get it out. But if you're not receptive to the solutions that from the problems, then you're just turning into a toilet. Okay, so when you're getting it and you're around yourself, around the people that are now trying to just leverage you for leverage purposes without adding no value to it, then you keep it a buck. You just like, all right, well, since you want to leverage me, this is my price. You keep it simple. Other than that, there's no value. Because the value is other than that, then there's no relationship, there's no collaboration. On the highest levels, in the rooms that I've been in the rooms that I've worked in the rooms that I'm going further into, it's all about relationships and collaborations of equality, of mutual benefit. Anything less than that is some bullshit. Because there's going to be as I talk about peanut butter and jelly, I use that a lot. And when you got peanut butter and jelly, it's a perfect sandwich. It meshes together. When it don't, you can add some pickles. It's an acquired taste. You feel me? Y'all might gel well, but it's going to be a different type situation. But if you want a perfect alignment, man, just get you some peanut butter and jelly, mix that shit together, and go with it. You feel me? And know that this is your value add, not your value takeaway, and you will get the people that's around you. Man, I hope that helps y'all some. I hope that blesses y'all. I hope you get a little bit more clarity on your environment and deciphering between your friends versus your frenemies. You feel me? Make sure y'all, like and subscribe. You feel me? Make sure y'all, tap in with the boy. Follow me on Instagram at the Exoticpreneur. You feel me? You feel me? Now I do offer a course. I do offer a course on teaching your marketing basics, marketing principles on how you can have money on demand. And it's a very dynamic course. If you are interested to learn it in person, it is you go to moneyondemandcourse.com. I want to see if I got the link for it. If I don't, I'm going to put it up here right now. It's called Money on Demand Course.com. You feel me? Oops, wrong button. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna make this a virtual. Matter of fact, if you wanna see it virtually and you're not able to be in the room, you're gonna go to, because this is live, y'all. So don't come for me. You know what I'm saying? Don't come for me. I wasn't all the way prepared. I was just inspired. You feel me? Actually, you're gonna go to 1%value.com. Oops. You're gonna go to 1%value.com. That's what you're gonna do. Go to 1% Value. You're gonna get an ebook that's gonna give you the course written down in like the physical form in a book form, and then you're gonna get a link to the actual course that's gonna that I teach live on August 15th, and that's a virtual course. It's a low barrier entry, but once you get in the room, I'm gonna give you so much sauce, so much game to get your bag up, get your things popping, and let's get to this next level. You feel me? Because a lot of times we got to be the shiny penny that adds value, not the ones that just take away from it. And that 1% matters. So if that's something that interests you and you want to go in, look, man, get in the room. Let's tap in. Let's get to the next level. Let's start elevating your mindset, your body set, and your spirit set. And with that being said, I need y'all all to stay healthy. Let us be wealthy. Don P out. Peace.